Heard some Pistol Grip there with Never Be Another. You're listening to the Punk Rock Demonstration. I'm Jack. Start off the show with that song because of recent events. Lots of sadness going on with lots of people passing away lately from various things. I guess the older you get, the more deaths happen. Eventually you'll be next, but yes, that sad song to start off our show with, called Punk Rock Demonstration. My website is punkrockdemo.com. Again, that's punkrockdemo.com. We're here every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, playing new songs and punk rock for 2 hours. And then the show repeats on Tuesdays from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Pacific time. Same website, punkrockdemo.com. All the other times, plenty of shows you can listen to 24 hours a day. Today I'm not in my echo chamber in downtown Los Angeles. I'm actually at home. Nice and hot at home because I don't have air conditioning. That, and also people have been setting off fireworks non-stop. It's not even July 4th yet. They've been celebrating since middle of June. I wonder how July 4th is going to be, especially with the latest developments with the war and all that nonsense. Not sure if war is the correct word, but sure seems like it with all these conflicts all around the world. Hopefully the July fireworks are not malicious fireworks. We'll have to see. I've heard lots of fireworks shows have been cancelled because of various reasons. Air pollution, ice, wars, violence, ridiculous nonsense. But since we're listening to punk rock, it's good to take a break from the news by listening to punk rock, and we're going to continue with Mesa Lanes. This song's called How Many Hearts.
Happy St. Valentine's Day. How many hearts will you destroy today? Walking and talking like everybody's stalking you. You're so oblivious to the fact that you're not the only one who matters here. Isn't that so
like this is the end. I lost my best friend. This is how it will always be for me. Still is, you cannot get free. I'll always remember this day. Stood up here, 7 will kill into the bay. Go!
That was some Sharky's Machine there with This Way, and some Antagonizers ATL with Back in the Day, Tio Rico with Somewhere Between before Antagonizers ATL, and some Singaya with Dr. West Strikes Again. I was trying to change out my chain on my motorcycle this weekend and ran into some difficulties. I could not get the nuts removed from the sprockets, and my dad was being a little too helpful and was trying to hammer it out and missed one of the strikes and ended up making a dent on my engine. Not very happy with that. It's not even a dent, it's more like a chip because there's a chunk missing from the engine now. Not happy with that. Never did end up getting the nut off of that sprocket, and when I took off the rear sprocket, found out that the replacement I had did not fit. The holes did not line up, so I had to put it all back together, and I might have over-torqued the nuts. Just disaster there. Didn't get anything accomplished, and had to put all the original parts back together with the bad chain that I needed to change out because I didn't feel like changing out the chain with the old sprockets. That, and also didn't want to ruin the new chain with the old sprockets. Just headache there. Everything has to be so complicated. But again, punk rock to save the day. 2 hours every week to let go of all these frustrations and just listen to punk rock. Well, at least for me. So we'll continue with some Lion's Law. This song's called Sewer Rats.
Oh,
7 months ago.
I knew it.
Why don't you get a job, Spicoli?
What for?
You need money.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Ignorance and the righteous stress that we feel today are simply repercussions of the system's attempts to maintain law and order, economic ups and downs, past resentment, present oppressions, cause the hate that surrounds us all now.
Principles of social equality, kings of democracy, and nobody. Right by the hand, right down the line. Your promises promised, they do not stand. The words you use to shoot us down, we'll stand together to bring you down. Please tell me, who are you? Kings of democracy. Principles of social equality, kings of democracy. Nobody. What made us great can't fix delay. So piece by piece, who gets the blame? I'll call to arms, stand side by side. Let's make them listen, won't take no more. Please tell me, who are you? Kings of democracy. Principles of social equality, kings of democracy, are nobody. Please tell me, who are you? Kings of democracy. Principles of social equality, kings of democracy, are nobody.
Heard some One-Way System there with Kings of Democracy, and before them we heard Civil Disobedience with Race Riots, Deadly Skies before Civil Disobedience with Loose Ends, and some Sunobathers with No Work Jerk, and some Tsunami Bots with AI before Sunobathers. AI seems to be the topic of everything. Just got a new laptop and it's got a ridiculous amount of cores, but they aren't real cores. They've got 2 real cores, I think, and then there's like 4 performance cores, 4 energy efficient cores, 4 low power cores, and 2 threads or some BS like that. It's absolutely ridiculous with these CPUs. Don't even know which CPU you're using half the time. It's also got AI processors and AI GPU and just ridiculous. All this AI crap. Not a fan. But it is what it is. So let's take a listen to some more punk rock here in the punk rock demonstration and forget about the world. Let's take a listen to Cat on the Underdogs with Fast Tracker.
Freaks of nature, X and X, I see an exact. I'm a fast genocide. Made in the town of Hopewell, it seemed like a rather fitting name. So when the powder came over, oh how grateful we were. Poison, we reap what you've sown. Poison, the subsidized bananas. Poison, we reap what you've sown. Poison, we have the right to shut up and die. The soils and the streams for the next 700 years. Whereas this product has been banned in the US since 1976. They're free from any judgment, as it will involve the government. Those greedy hands have all found the counterfeit, but without the names. Poison, we reap what you've sown. The subsidized bananas. Poison, we reap what you've sown. We have the right to shut up and die.
truth of how I felt for you inside of me. Now she is all you want, now she is all you need, now she is everything you wanted me to be. You said I was your love, you said you'd never leave, but you were stupid enough to go and set me free. You were the one, I know that now. We were the ones that brought them down. You were the one, I know that's true. We were the ones that didn't have a clue. Now you come running back, but we're a long way gone. 'Cause now there's someone new, and now I'm moving on. I know you got regrets, I guess I've got them too. But he's a better guy, someone unlike you. Now he is all I want, now he is all I need. Now he is everything I wanted you to be. I know he is my love, I know he'll never leave. Because you were the one to go and set me free. You were the one, I know that now. We were the ones that brought them down. You were the one, I know that's true. But you couldn't see what's right in front of you. I am holding on, I think that you should know the memories that we had, I'll never let them go. Too bad you couldn't learn, and said you couldn't see the truth of how I felt for you inside of me. You were the one, I know that now. We were the ones that brought them down. You were the one, I know that's true. We were the ones that didn't have a clue. You were the one, I know that now. We were the ones that brought them down. You were the one, I know that's true. But you couldn't see what's right in front of you.
Teleport, I have a great idea. Yeah, there's treasure here. It's right under here. It's just liquid poison in the hills. We'll use diesel drills. See if oil spills out. Tell me if it turn you on. Sing it at night to your mother. The neighborhoods will never know. If we keep on the tallow until they start to suffer from effects of poison water lines, deforming their spines, release their oil's mine. As we use profits to provide their need, have some new wells made after we get paid. Of course, you're a motherfucker, yeah. I'm a motherfucker, yeah. You're a motherfucker, yeah. I'm a motherfucker, yeah. You're a motherfucker, yeah. I'm a motherfucker, yeah. Yes, I don't care, 'cause I live uphill from there. And you say it's your God-given right to penetrate and plunder. Did you hear that sound? Can you feel the ground shudder at the weight of being torn asunder? Yeah, the danger's there, but we just don't care. You can go find somewhere else to live.
Heard some Ailments there with Mother Fracker, Pressure Drop with Stupid before Ailments, and some Sniper 66 with All Dressed Up before Pressure Drop, and Belocos with Poison Land. Got a couple more segments of music before I play those songs you've never heard of before, the songs that people have been sending in throughout the week over at punkrockdemo.com. I've also got a request. I'll be playing that very shortly. Right now, let's continue with the Generators. This song's called City of Angels.
Under the western sun,
Heard Oil Change with 10 Years and Usurpers with Out of Control. Ask with Motion Sickness before the Usurpers, and the Hollow Points with The Sky Turned Black. Still listening to the Punk Rock Demonstration. Find playlists for all these shows at punkrockdemo.com, along with everything punk rock. Let's continue now with the Shanghai Lows. This song's called These Four Walls.
It was the last time I saw Mom, just through great balls, never going home. We so frightening, the way we talk. Dot pigment children living in a box. And I trade you all my dreams to go back to when I was running in the sun with others like me, singing out loud with others like me. All I had to cover me are these four walls and prisoners like me. Prisoners like me. Seen my picture, New York Times, politicians dishing borderlines, and I trade you all my dreams to go back to when I was running in the sun with others like me, singing out loud with others like me. All I had to cover me are these four walls and prisoners like me. Prisoners like me. Prisoners like me. Prisoners like me.
Four walls to cage me in, fall until we're together again. Four walls to cage me in, fall until we're together again. Four walls to cage me in, fall until we're together again. Four walls to cage me in, fall until we're together again. When you got nothing, then there's nothing left to lose. Time to take a good look at what's around. Time to break out, time to sing rebel tunes. Spend some time doing rock for yourself. Hey, all the yes men doing what they expect. Gotta think for yourself. Yeah, to think for yourself. And show the world you're not like all of them, yeah. They said, hey man, you lose, so pack your stuff and get on down the track. And I said thank you, and got up on my shoes for some feet of my boots, just the thing I lack. All the yes men doing what they expect. Gotta think for myself, yeah, to think for myself. And show the world I'm not like all of them, yeah. Hey, they try their best, but they never break me. They try their best, but they never change me. This whole damn world won't make me, no matter what they say. They try their best, but they'll never break me. see. They try the best, but they'll never break me. Small brain of
Heard Screeching Weasel with Back of Your Head, and some 7 Years with Hangover of Happiness. That was before Screeching Weasel. Pansy Division before 7 Years with He's Trouble, and Reducers SF with Never Break Me. Got a reminder email that I'm supposed to review this Yage magazine, well, Yage zine, punk rock zine, new punk zine, first edition of the zine. I'm supposed to review that, but I still haven't had time to look at it, so I need to take a look at that and maybe write my thoughts on that, or maybe talk about my thoughts, maybe next week. I've been so busy. Hot as well. Still doing the show, however. No matter how busy I am, gotta get those shows out so that way people can listen to new punk rock and I can take a break from the world. Let's continue now with K-Gel. This song's called Kind of a Lie.
There's a few things which I don't understand. Openly criticize a choice of direction in life, but still you're more than willingly benefiting from it all. I get a bit confused by all this nonsense coming from you. There's a few things which I don't understand. Openly you criticize a choice of direction in life, but still you're more than willingly benefiting from it all. I get a bit confused by all this nonsense coming from you.
music by Maxine Pups there. That song's called The Falcon. Also another new song by Two Ball Screwball before Maxine Pups. That song's called Everything's Coming Up, Millhouse. It's actually one sentence, there's no comma between it, but I'm not quite sure how to say that properly. Everything's Coming Up, Millhouse, I guess. American Thought Criminals was before Two Ball Screwball. That song's called Choking on the Blue Pill. Noise with Lies before American Thought Criminals, and a request for the Drowns. That song's called Live Like You're Dying. By the way, you can go to punkrockdemo.com to make requests, and there's plenty of different ways to contact me on there if you need to. I want to continue playing some new songs here in the punk rock demonstration. Let's continue with Old Daggers. The song's called Runaway.
Trump is hidden by the state, talking power and the rent. It's propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. It's propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. It's propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. It's propaganda, propaganda, propaganda.
That was Spock there with Heart Like a Grenade, and Blacklist Union with Up in Smoke before Spock. Scanner with Rocker before Blacklist Union, and some Snare Waves with Huff, and IDKs with Propaganda before Snare Waves, that band from Italy. My voice for some reason is cracking up there, maybe because of the heat, and this computer's getting louder and louder. Gotta talk louder to talk over the loud computer fan. So let's end off the show with Brain Size 61. The song's called Pianos on Acid. It's a song literally about moving pianos on acid. So you've been listening to the Punk Rock Demonstration. I'm Jack. I'll be back again next week on punkrockdemo.com. 7 p.m. Pacific time is when the show comes on, and it repeats on Tuesdays from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Pacific time. punkrockdemo.com. I'll talk to all next week. Thanks for listening.